I wish I could tell you I was unhappy. That I was lonely, or neglected, or quietly falling out of love. But that would be a lie. The truth is much worse. Because I had everything. And I still broke it. Adam was the kind of husband people envy. Not perfect, but kind, attentive, solid. We didn't fight. We didn't have unresolved issues. He listened. He remembered little things. He called just to say he loved me, even 5 years in. There was no distance to bridge, no bitterness to hide. And I loved him. Fully. Without hesitation. That part was never in question. He had a work trip that weekend, a regional sales summit in Toronto. It was important, the kind of trip you didn't skip unless you wanted to start sliding down the ladder. He hated going without me, but I encouraged it. I even helped him pack, folded his shirts, tucked in a note like I always did. Something silly. Something sweet. He kissed me 3 times before he left. Once at the door. Once at the car. And once after rolling the window down to say, "Text me when you get home. I already miss you." That was Friday afternoon. By midnight, everything I thought I was, every value, every belief, would be undone. I didn't plan on going out that night. But Mira had other ideas. Come on. Just an hour. Julian's throwing one of his rooftop things. Wine, music, beautiful people, illegal amounts of cheese. I hesitated. I always hesitated when Adam wasn't home, not out of guilt, but out of habit. We did most things together. He was my default +1, my safety net, my comfort zone. But the apartment felt strange without him. Too quiet. Too clean. So I went. I threw on something casual. Washed my hair. Mascara, red lips, just to feel awake. And I told myself, 1 drink. Smile. Leave by 10. The loft was exactly what I expected. Dim lights, sharp music, floor-to-ceiling windows glowing with city lights. People were already half drunk and full of stories. Someone was dancing barefoot on the balcony. Someone else was playing piano in the corner, badly. I found Mira in the kitchen. She hugged me like she hadn't seen me in years. "You look hot," she said. "Where's Adam?" "Toronto. Conference." "Then tonight you're mine," she grinned, and handed me a drink before I could ask what it was. It was strong. I felt it after 2 sips. Warmth spreading in my cheeks, my throat. I hadn't eaten much. I told myself I'd stop at 1. Then someone passed a tray of shots. I laughed. I said yes. I danced a little. I lost track of Mira. I talked to strangers about things I don't remember. I laughed too loudly at things that weren't funny. I took another shot. And another. Time blurred. Faces blurred. My thoughts got soft at the edges. And then. Everything went blank for a few minutes. Just black. No memory. But I remember coming to. I was in one of the guest bedrooms. The light was off. Someone was kissing me. And my hands weren't pushing them away. It didn't feel like anything, at first. More like waking up mid-dream, when you're aware of your body but not fully inside it. My head was spinning. My lips were dry. There was music thudding somewhere far away, like it came from underwater. I wasn't alone. A man, someone whose name I didn't know, was kissing me. Slow, deliberate. Like we were in the middle of something. His hand was under my dress. And I didn't stop him. That's the part one can't forgive. I didn't pull away. Didn't say no. Didn't even speak. Because in that exact moment, I wasn't thinking of Adam. I wasn't thinking at all. I was just floating in a haze of liquor and low light and warm hands that didn't belong to my husband. And my body, traitorous, stupid, responded. We didn't speak. Not really. He pushed me gently back onto the bed, and I let him. My breath caught, from the motion, not desire. His fingers clumsy at the hem of my dress, the smell of alcohol thick between us, his mouth sliding along my jawline, my neck. The weight of him pressed against me, the zipper catching, the fabric folding, and still I said nothing. I let it happen. Not because I wanted him. Not because I was turned on. But because I didn't know how not to. Somewhere, deep down, I knew I had crossed a line, before we even got that far. Before he was inside me. Before I closed my eyes and waited for it to end. There was no passion. No connection. No moment of surrender. It was mechanical. Empty. A betrayal performed by muscle memory and absence of thought. He finished quickly. Barely made a sound. And just like that, it was over. I sat up, dizzy, my dress twisted, skin cold with sweat. I didn't look at him. Didn't ask his name. I couldn't. I just pulled my clothes back into place with trembling hands and stumbled out of the room like a ghost. The hallway was spinning. Someone offered me water, I ignored them. My fingers fumbled with my phone as I ordered a ride. I left without saying goodbye to anyone. In the Uber, I didn't cry. I just sat there, staring at my reflection in the window. Mascara smeared. Hair a mess. A stranger looking back. When I got home, the apartment was dark. I went straight to the bathroom, turned on the shower, and stood under scalding water until my skin burned. I scrubbed everywhere. Twice. 3 times. But nothing made me feel clean. I climbed into bed, curled into the sheets, and told myself I'd pretend it didn't happen. That it was just a dream. A blackout. Something I'd misremember tomorrow. But the soreness between my thighs told a different story. And so did the dull ache behind my ribs. At 3:12 a.m., Adam texted. "You still up? Just got back to the hotel. I miss you." I stared at the screen, shaking. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. But I didn't respond. Because I didn't know what to say to the man who trusted me completely. While I was still lying in the bed where I had just ruined everything. The next morning, I woke up with a headache that felt biblical. My mouth tasted like metal. My stomach twisted every time I tried to breathe too deep. The light streaming through the blinds was too sharp, too clear. I wanted to crawl back into darkness, into silence, into before. But before was gone. I sat up slowly. My legs were sore. Not just from the drinks or the dancing, I could feel him, still. And that was the worst part. That my body remembered. That no matter how I tried to convince myself it was just a blur, something nameless and faceless, the ache made it real. I showered again. Longer this time. Hotter. My skin turned red from how hard I scrubbed. I didn't cry. I couldn't. The tears were locked behind something else. Something tighter. Heavier. Guilt is strange like that. It doesn't always come with emotion. Sometimes it just sits there. Dead weight. Adam's flight was due to land that afternoon. I kept glancing at the clock, calculating how much time I had left to pretend. I changed the sheets. I cleaned the apartment. I even lit a candle, like that would somehow mask the scent of what I had done. My hands trembled when I poured coffee. I couldn't eat. At 2:03 p.m., I got the text. Landed early. Just grabbed my bag. On my way home. Can't wait to see you. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then typed. Can't wait either, yellow heart. And hit send. The lie came so easy, it made me sick. When he walked through the door, everything inside me screamed. But I smiled. Like a monster wearing my own face. He looked tired, but happy. His hair was messy from the wind. His shirt half untucked. He dropped his suitcase, kicked off his shoes, and pulled me into a hug that lasted too long. "You smell like home," he whispered into my hair. I almost collapsed. Because I didn't. Not really. Not anymore. I held on too tightly, afraid he'd feel it, the wrongness in me. But he didn't. He kissed me. Gently. Warm. Familiar. And I kissed him back. Because I didn't know how not to. The evening moved like molasses. He told me stories from the conference. His hotel room was tiny, the Wi-Fi sucked, but the presentation had gone great. He'd even gotten a handshake from the VP. I laughed where I was supposed to. Asked the right questions. Played the part I'd always played. But underneath it all, something in me was screaming. Louder and louder. Every time he reached for me, every time he brushed his fingers across my arm, every time he said, "God, I missed this." It got worse. Not because I didn't love him. But because I did. That night, he curled into me like nothing had changed. His hand slid under the hem of my shirt. His mouth on my neck. I flinched. Just a little. He didn't notice. "You okay?" he murmured. I nodded quickly. Just tired. He kissed my shoulder, pulled me close, and whispered. "Tomorrow, we do nothing. Just you and me. No alarms. No plans." I smiled in the dark. And my chest burned like fire. Because I had already ruined every tomorrow. For the next 2 days, I played the role so well I could have won awards. Smiled when he looked. Laughed when he joked. Touched him just enough. Not too much. I cooked. I cleaned. I kissed him good morning and good night. And underneath it all, I was rotting. I kept replaying the night in my head like some horror film I couldn't stop watching. Not the act itself, no, that was already fading. But the choices. The 1,000 tiny choices that led to it. The second drink. The third. Staying longer. Not leaving when I had the chance. And then the moment when I could have said no, and didn't. I didn't tell anyone. Not Mira. Not even the faceless notes app one sometimes used like a diary. There was one moment, one slip, that almost shattered the whole thing. It was Monday morning. I was still pretending everything was fine. I was halfway through folding laundry when my phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. No name. Just a message. "You left your earring." My blood turned cold. I stared at the screen like it might detonate. My earrings, the gold ones Adam gave me for our 3rd anniversary. I wore them that night. I didn't remember losing one. I barely remembered wearing them. But apparently, he did. I didn't reply. I deleted the message. Then deleted the number. And prayed. I started pulling away from Adam in small, careful ways. When he kissed me, I smiled too fast. When he reached for my hand, I found excuses, dishes, coffee, laundry, always something in my fingers. I stopped showering with him. Stopped changing with the door open. He noticed. He didn't say it outright, but I saw it, in the way he hesitated before asking if I was okay. The way he watched me when he thought I wasn't looking. That's the thing about men like Adam. They feel things deeply. But they rarely press. They wait. They give space. They hope you'll come back on your own. And that makes it worse. The crack came on a Tuesday. We were at a bookstore. He was browsing, something about marketing psychology, and I wandered toward the cafe. I saw someone I knew. Someone who was at the party. Talia. She wasn't a friend. More like a social satellite. Pretty. Loud. Observant in the worst ways. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. She leaned in. Smiling, too bright. "Hey, you survived Friday, huh?" I smiled back, careful, light. "Yeah, Barely. That wine hit hard. She laughed, raised an eyebrow. Tell me about it. Some people really went all in. I froze for half a second. Just enough. Her eyes narrowed. Not accusing. But, knowing. Anyway. You looked great, by the way. That dress? Dangerous. I laughed too loudly. Too fake. Adam walked up behind me with a coffee. Talia's smile shifted. Hi, you must be the husband, she said, perfectly pleasant. I've heard so much about you. Adam smiled, polite. Good things, I hope. Talia's eyes flicked to me. Then back to him. Of course, she said. And that was it. She walked away. But the air didn't clear. Later that night, while we were brushing our teeth, Adam asked quietly. Who was that girl? I shrugged. Friend of Myra's. Don't really know her. He nodded. Nothing else. But the way he looked at me in the mirror. Like he was seeing something I didn't want seen. That look stayed. I almost told him that night. The rain had started just after dinner, soft at first, then steady, tapping against the windows like a pulse. We sat on the couch, legs tangled, the way we always did when the world outside felt too loud. He had his head on my lap, book in hand. I ran my fingers through his hair absently, pretending I was somewhere else. Someone else. My throat was dry. My chest tight. I had rehearsed the words in my head 1,000 times. Something happened. I made a mistake. Please don't hate me. But every version of the truth ended in the same image. His face, cracking. His hands, letting go. His voice, no longer soft. So I stayed quiet. At some point, he put the book down and looked up at me. Not smiling, just watching. You're different lately. I froze. He didn't say it with anger. Or accusation. Just sadness. Like he already knew. Or maybe, feared. Is everything okay? He asked, sitting up now, his eyes level with mine. I opened my mouth. The truth was right there. Balancing on the tip of my tongue like a blade. Say it. Now. While you still can. But instead I said. Work's been a lot lately. I think I'm just tired. A beat of silence. Then he nodded. Slow. Quiet. He didn't press. He just reached for my hand and kissed my knuckles like he always did when he thought I needed comfort. And I flinched, inside. Because that kiss felt like a gift I didn't deserve. We made love that night. Slow. Familiar. His hands knew every part of me. And still, I felt like a stranger in my own skin. I wanted to cry the entire time. Not from pain. Not even guilt. But because he was so gentle. So careful. Like I hadn't already destroyed everything. After, we lay in the dark. His breathing even. His arm draped across my stomach like an anchor. And I stared at the ceiling, wide awake. There was a moment, maybe around 3 a.m., when I whispered into the dark. Adam. His body stirred lightly. Another chance. A final out. But I said nothing. Just swallowed the confession whole. And let the silence crush me. Because what would I even be, after that? Not a wife. Not a partner. Just a woman who couldn't undo what she'd done. And he would never look at me the same again. So I chose the only thing I had left. Silence. But silence is a knife. And it cuts every time he says I love you like he still means it. It started with the scent. He hugged me in the hallway one morning, quick, tight, warm, and suddenly paused. You switched shampoos? I hadn't. But I nodded. Yeah. The other one ran out. A small thing. Too small to question. But I felt his body change, not stiffen, exactly, just register something. Like a dog catching the wrong scent in the woods. Then came the messages. First from Mira. Was that you upstairs with that guy at Julian's party? Eyes. I dropped my phone. I didn't answer. I deleted the message. Then blocked her. Because what the hell did she see? Then 2 days later, Julian himself. The host. Someone I barely knew, texting out of nowhere. You good? You left in a hurry Friday. Wasn't like you. What did that mean? Did he hear something? Did someone talk? My heart beat so fast it made my hands numb. I stood in the bathroom staring at my reflection like it was a crime scene. How much did I show? How much did they know? Adam started asking questions, but never the right ones. You've been weird lately. Is something going on at work? You sure everything's okay? I kept feeding him soft lies. Yes. Just tired. All good. I love you. Each one stacked on the last like loose bricks. The whole thing about to collapse with one wrong step. Then came the real slip. We were out, dinner with friends at a rooftop restaurant. Glass walls, candles, too much wine. Talia was there. And she, of course she, brought it up. Loudly. At the table. In front of Adam. That party at Julian's was wild, right? God, people were doing stuff everywhere. She looked straight at me. Smiling. You disappeared for, what, like 40 minutes? The table laughed. Adam didn't. He glanced at me. You never told me about that part. I laughed. Too sharp. She's exaggerating. Am I? Talia said, sipping her drink. You and that guy, what was his name, Nate? Mason? Every molecule in my body stopped breathing. I have no idea what you're talking about, I said. The words came fast. Too fast. Adam just watched. Quiet. Eyes on me like he was watching someone else live inside my face. I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to throw my glass across the table. But I sat still. Burning. That night, Adam didn't touch me. He climbed into bed beside me, pulled the blanket up, and turned off the lamp. Silence. I laid there, staring at the ceiling, knowing something was coming. A storm. The next day, I got home early. The apartment was too quiet. Adam's jacket was gone. His keys weren't in the bowl. And on the kitchen counter. A single item. My earring. The one I thought I'd lost. The one from that night. Lying there. Perfectly placed. Waiting. The earring sat on the kitchen counter like a bullet. Gold. Familiar. Shining under the kitchen light. I stared at it for a full minute before I moved. He knew. Not suspected. Not guessed. He knew. And he left it there like a message. Like a test. A line drawn in silence. I walked through the apartment in slow motion, calling his name, once, twice, but I already knew he wasn't home. The air felt thinner. The walls taller. I paced. Tried to think. Tried to breathe. My phone vibrated. Adam. I'll be home in an hour. I want you to tell me the truth. Just once. That was it. No punctuation. No rage. Just a sentence I couldn't run from. The hour passed like molasses and thunder. I didn't change clothes. I didn't clean. I didn't rehearse anything. I just sat there at the dining table, my palms flat against the wood, trying to feel real. And then I heard the door unlock. The sound made my blood ice cold. Adam stepped in slowly, quietly, like he didn't want to scare the room. His eyes found mine instantly. He didn't speak right away. He just walked to the counter, picked up the earring between his fingers, turned it once in his palm. And then set it down again. Gently. "Where did you lose it?" he asked. The question was simple. But it split me in half. Because he wasn't asking for the story. He wasn't asking who, or when, or how far it went. He just wanted to see if I would lie. My lips parted. I could have said anything. I could have blamed the Uber. The bathroom. The wind. But instead, I told him the truth. Julian's party. Upstairs. I don't remember his name. Silence. The kind that crushes cities. Adam didn't flinch. He just nodded once. Slow. Controlled. Measured. Then walked past me, toward the hallway, toward the bedroom. He paused in the doorway. "Thank you for not lying." He didn't say more. Didn't yell. Didn't ask why. Didn't cry. He just disappeared down the hallway, leaving the door half open. I sat there, hollowed out. Breathing like I'd just been pulled from underwater. And I knew. That silence wasn't forgiveness. It was distance. It was the sound of a door slowly closing. It was the beginning of after. There's something cruel about how normal life looks after a disaster. I still go to the same grocery store. Still pay bills. Still take the trash out on Wednesdays. But everything, every small moment, has a shadow now. It's been 11 months and 3 weeks since that night at the kitchen table. Since Adam closed the bedroom door. Since the version of me he loved stopped existing. He moved out 2 days later. No yelling. No demands. No begging. Just a suitcase, a duffel bag, and a quiet apology for not being stronger. "I just can't unknow it," he said. And I understood. I haven't tried to contact him since. Some nights, I think about messaging him. Not to ask him back. Not even to explain. Just to tell him that I still love the way he whistled in the shower. That I still sleep in his old hoodie. That I still haven't worn those earrings. But I don't. Because I already said the one thing that ended us. And everything else feels small now. I tried dating again. Once. It was a guy from work. Funny, nice enough. We had dinner. Talked about podcasts. He kissed me at the end of the night. And I went home and threw up. Not because I missed Adam, although I do. But because I don't know how to be looked at without guilt anymore. I don't know how to let someone touch me without remembering what I destroyed. Some people say time heals. They're wrong. Time softens. It smooths the edges. But the thing is still there, just easier to walk around. I live in a small apartment now. Just me. Quiet. Clean. The plants are dying. Adam used to take care of them. There's a photo frame in a box under my bed. Us on the coast, wrapped in wind and each other. I should throw it away. I won't. Because love doesn't disappear just because you ruined it. It lingers. Quiet. Heavy. Present. Just like guilt.